Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a viewer's request, pepper steak and black bean rice. Of course, today's recipe is going to be my spin on the way I make the pepper steak. Of course, there's many versions and I love all of them. As well, the black bean rice is also known as dirty rice. So I'm going to show you how to make that. And I can't wait. What we'll do, we'll put the ingredients in as we go and refer to our recipe that's posted below this link to tell you how much you need for each one. So let's get started. So what I got here is a nice chunk of strip loin steak with a lot of marbling on there, and of course you know marbling is the fat. So what I'm going to do is cut this in nice strips, and you need a sharp knife, and you can have it as thick or as thin as you like. As you can see, I'm just making a very small strip. You can have 1 or 2 steaks, or you can buy this already cut by your butcher. So I'm going to continue cutting this, then I'll tell you what's next. So that's all you need to do there, is just watch your fingers, clean hands, sharp knife, and cut up your beef into strips. And like I said, this is a strip loin. I'm going to wash my hands and we'll get the frying pan going. So what you need is a nice hot frying pan. So I got it on the damper there on a medium to high heat. I'm going to put about a tablespoonful of oil and the same with the butter. So we're going to let this warm up nice first before we start adding in our strips of beef. When your frying pan gets nice and hot, then just put all of your strips of beef in there, and you can get whatever type you like. Right now I'm using the strip loin and a little hint of elk. If it's partly frozen, it's easier to cut. So that's something to keep in mind when you're going to cut up the beef by yourself. Just freeze it just that little, just to get a chill on. So I'm going to start this frying there now. So what I'm going to do here now is let these strips of beef fry for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side before I start adding in any of our spices, which I'll tell you, our seasonings, and I'll tell you what they are as we go. But we're going to be using 3 different bell peppers. We're going to be using our orange, we're going to be using red and green, and they're just small peppers. We're going to be using some tomatoes. I'm using baby tomatoes and stripped onion. This is the vegetables. I'm also going to be using about a half a cup of stripped fresh carrot, and the same for the celery, about 2 sticks. So as well, my ingredient that I love putting in my pepper steak is fresh mushroom. You don't need it in there if you don't want to, but I love mushroom, or we love mushrooms, and we certainly like to add it in with our pepper steak. I'm going to take you back here now to the frying meat, and then we'll add in some of our seasonings. Now, working with a strip loin, I always find it's so tender. It's a delicious piece of meat, and this is so good for barbecuing and of course cooking for a pepper steak. I don't want to overcook it, of course. I'm just going to toss it here on the other side because we got to add lots of stuff in with it, and it will cook more as it goes. So just flip it all over and let it start frying on that side. Okay, so when you're finished cooking it on that side, flip it over. You want it nice and caramelized. And then I'm going to start adding in those seasonings, which is going to build all of those flavors. And that's what we want here for this pepper steak. So I'm just going to add in the ingredients, which is paprika. I'm going to leave it to you guys to check out my recipe, post it below. And we're going to be putting in there some black pepper and some rosemary. I'll have all the amounts there for you to see. I'm going to stir this in just until it starts to, you know, feel the love, I call it, to get all those flavors in there. Now I'll tell you what's next. Now we're going to be adding in our strips of onion, and we're going to let that start to fry there with the beef. And then when that starts to get a little bit cooked, we're going to be adding in our mushrooms, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with those. You see sometimes the mushrooms got a little bit of dirt on it from where it's left in the packaging. Just brush that off. You don't need to wash it because that'll only make your mushroom all gooey. So just brush that off like that, and that will clean it for you. I'm going to be using 4 mushrooms there today, and I'm just going to cut it into slices first and then just cut in half again like that. And then that's all you need to do with that. So what I'm going to do now is add in just a few strips of carrot, and this is just to give that brightness and flavor. If you add carrot in any stir fry, you'll definitely like it in this pepper steak one. So just, and you can partly cook them first if you want to have them a little softer, that's fine, but have them in strips. And then I'm going to toss in my mushrooms on top of that because I want to start to brown these off as well. So now what I'm going to do is add in all of those delicious bell peppers that's cut into strips, and add them in there. It smells absolutely amazing in there today. And I know Raymond's drooling over there, just waiting for this to be cooked. So now, as you notice, so far I haven't added any salt into this fried up, stir-fried, I guess, of pepper steak, because I'm going to be using soy sauce as the soft version. So now I'll tell you what's next. I'm just going to stir this around again lightly, and I'm going to add in my celery. I'm going to get those juices flowing from that, because celery, well, my sons would always say, Mom, it's just water. But I find that it's got such flavor and it adds that taste as well. So we're going to let that fry for just a few minutes there. We'll add in our tomatoes and a few more ingredients. I'm going to be adding in here as well 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to put them through my press. You can grate them or you can chop it in small pieces, and you can add more garlic if you want to. I'm going to add in the little baby tomatoes, and if you didn't want to add baby tomatoes and you wanted to add the strips of tomatoes, you cut off a nice tomato into strips, that's fine as well. And now what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, that smells amazing, is add in the soy sauce. And that is our salt base to this delicious pepper steak. Now, how delicious did this look? So after you added all those ingredients in and let it start cooking again for a few minutes, now we're going to add in our beef broth. And I got 2 cups of that. You don't want to overcook your garlic because you don't want to burn it. Nobody wants burnt garlic. So what we're going to do now is let this come up to a boil. And now, while we're waiting, we'll mix up a cornstarch base. I'm going to be using 2 tablespoonfuls of cornstarch into about a 1/4 cup of water. Now, you could use the beef broth, of course, to do this as well, not necessarily the water. We keep all those flavors going. And I usually do it into a mason jar so I could mix it like this, and it gets it all ready for you. So now what we're going to do is toss this into our pepper steak mixture. So after you've mixed up your cornstarch, you see this rolling boil there, you pour in your cornstarch in the middle of your frying pan and mix it around till it starts to thicken. At this point there, sample your sauce. If you think it's the right consistency, you're good to go. If you want to add some more seasonings or garlic, this is a good time to do so. But again, refer to my recipe posted at the bottom of this video, and it'll give you everything you need. So now what we're going to do is get working on our rice, black bean rice. So after you've done that, like I said, I'm going to start making our black bean rice, which is also called dirty rice. I'm going to put my screen over the top. I just want for it to simmer. I'm going to put it on my back damper. And again, if you want to make it for a bigger portion, for a big group of people, or if you're just making it for two, I'll let you gauge how much you need for that. But this is how I make it, and it's absolutely delicious. So let's get started on our rice dish. Okay, so in a medium or a large frying pan, you're going to put in a drizzle of olive oil and a teaspoonful of butter. I'm going to let this start to warm before I add in any other ingredients. First, we're going to add in our chopped onion. We'll get this a little cooked there, just until it's a little clearer and partly cooked. I'm just going to fry this around lightly, and I'm going to add in there with that and let it cook together some carrot, just slightly diced up, and it's partly cooked, and I'm going to put that into the frying pan as well. Again, refer to my recipe for the amounts, because you might want a little bit more when you're making yours. So let this fry a little bit. So when it starts to fry and sizzle like that, you're going to add in some onion powder, not onion salt. We're going to add in some black pepper. Just toss it on in there. We're going to add in some paprika and cayenne pepper, sea salt, and a little bit of brown sugar, and that offsets any of the citrus or the spicy taste to our black bean rice, also known as dirty rice. So after that's nice and blended together, and you can just smell all of those seasonings, what we're going to do, we're going to add in some tomato juice. So I'm just going to pour up some tomato juice there, but I'm going to put in a nice helping of black beans, and they're cooked black beans. You could use canned, or you can have them soaked and cooked yourself, and that's about a cup I put in there, but you can put more. Now let that cook there for just a few minutes before I add in the celery and the tomato juice. After you see that your beans are starting to warm up there, you're going to toss in your chopped celery, and this is just in little dices. I'm going to just mix that around and then toss in our tomato juice. Now how delicious is that? And we haven't really done anything yet. So I hope you're following along and you're so interested to make, well, my version of pepper steak and I guess black bean rice, which is also a dirty rice. And you know, this meal is good any time of the year. And of course, if you're looking for a nice way just to make a delicious meal for your family, and then you could warm it over later if you want to, as much as you want. Makes great leftovers as well. And so what we're going to do here now is let this tomato juice in the beans and the onions and carrot reduce down a little bit, come to a little bubble. I'll show you what that looks like before we add in our 2 cups of cooked rice. So after you see that the tomato juice is reduced and everything in there is nice and tender, then you're going to add in your 2 cups of already cooked rice. Now I'm going to let you decide on what kind of rice you'd like to use, because you might have a favorite kind, and in this meal it doesn't matter. Whatever one you enjoy, that's the one you're going to use. So right now I'm going to mix all of this in together until it's all combined. So I'm just going to mix all of that cooked steak steamed rice into our mixture of black beans, celery, carrot. We got onion in there, the seasonings, and if you want to add more seasonings, fill your boots. Put in as much as you want, just taste it in between, and then you're certain you're happy with that texture. And that's all we need to do. Now let's put this meal together. I'm going to show you now 2 ways that I like to serve my pepper steak, because I like it one way and Raymond likes it served the other way for him. So I'm going to show you that right now. I can't wait. Now just look at this delicious meal. Now you know that you would serve this to any company. Most certainly your family is the precious company and you want to serve them delicious meals, and this is the way you would do it. Now Raymond likes these this way. He likes his rice served to one side, and then he likes, well, of course, tons of meat. So he likes the meat next to it with a drizzle of the gravy, of course, what we would call that, and I know it's a sauce, but it's a gravy for us. I'll give you,
making me so hungry.
I know, I'm going to give you another piece of that meat, and just top with a little tiny bit of green onion. Now the way I like mine, because I like mine, I can almost sit down on a big chair and just eat this. This is called comfort food to me. So I have a big dollop of that black bean rice, which is a dirty rice. Then I take my pepper steak and just toss over the top. Now just look at this. How delicious. Now I like the more vegetable part and the mushrooms topped over it. Of course, I got to have pepper over mine. Just gonna put just a little bit of that crunchy sea salt, and again topped with the green onion. Now you pick the way you like it. This is it, as good as it gets.
As you would say, it's too good to eat.
Too good to eat, and 2 thumbs up by Bonita's Kitchen. Of course, we're both looking at our dish there now. We're saying, come on, we need to eat this now. I'm gonna have a little bit of that tomato juice to have with my meal, and of course bring in my meal. I need to get a spoon. Just wait. Okay, I got a fork instead. I was gonna eat it with a spoon, but I was thinking, okay, let's get a little crazy there, Bonita. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of the meat, some of that delicious rice. This is perfect for me. I could just see sitting down now, like I said, with this hugged in my arms like this.
And your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show, or just listen to some quiet music, having a little taste of my tomato juice with it. Delicious, delicious. So if you enjoyed my spin on pepper steak today, and of course black bean rice, which is a dirty rice, I can't wait for you to make it. Again, this is my spin on it, what I would do for me and my family. And today, I didn't tell you the exact ingredients because I want for you to judge what you want. But the recipe is posted down there below, and you could look at that. Plus, next to it is the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. This is it. Lots of delicious recipes made right here on Bonita's Kitchen. I want to say a big thank you to our viewers that have requested this recipe, and I've been trying to get to it. We got like over 200 plus recipes posted right now to Bonita's Kitchen, and we're trying to get to as many of our viewers' requests because that's what's important to us, pleasing our viewers. And anyone that have subscribed already, we're going to thank you now in advance for doing that and supporting our channel. So again, if you enjoyed this recipe today, leave us a message letting us know what you think and what you would do different, because I'm always interested in knowing. You can visit us on www.bonitaskitchen.com, our Facebook page, or right here on YouTube. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today from our kitchen to yours. Enjoy our delicious meal, and you have a wonderful day. Hi, Bonita here from Bonita's Kitchen. If you're interested in knowing how to make a delicious pepper steak and black beans, so Hi, I'm Bonita from Bonita's Kitchen. If you're visiting Newfoundland and Labrador, don't forget to check out some of the communities and towns surrounding that area. And right here, visit the beautiful town of Brigus. And don't forget to join us again on Bonita's Kitchen.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen.